Oslo is a new twist on the shared housing concept in the up-and-coming Shaw neighborhood of Washington, D.C.
The idea of, group houses typically are somewhat run down and, old furniture that gets inherited, and you sort of swallow hard and say, okay, I'll do it, and I'm going to spend less than I would if I got my own apartment. Here, you're living in this beautiful condition, so you're getting all the benefits and perks of a Class A multifamily building, but yet at a reduced cost because of the shared concept. So it's like building a gorgeous group house, a gorgeous new home, and then renting it as a group house. Nobody really does that.
From the beginning, boutique real estate firm Ditto Residential wanted to create something different.
I felt like in the larger firms, even the most progressive larger firms, there wasn't a focus on kind of doing new things. I think we wanted to get into a little trouble.
Right from the start, the site for Oslo was just that, trouble.
It's one thing to think about something conceptually, it's another thing to actually have a box to fit it into.
The location was walkable, just 10 minutes from downtown D.C. and a block away from the Shaw Metro station. But the zoning and construction issues surrounding the site were far from perfect.
It was a by right construction issue of a non-conforming existing apartment building. So we had a non-conforming building of 9 units that because of the lot area we were not allowed to raise the building and rebuild 9 units. So using the zoning rules, which basically allow for you to demolish everything up until 4 feet above grade to maintain your zoning classification, we basically took the foundation down to 4 feet above grade and then rebuilt on top of that foundation.
To meet the plan for Oslo, they would need to build a new lower level underneath the existing foundation.
In order to get our basement to the finished grade level that was anticipated, we had to underpin the existing foundation. So we tore down 20 some odd feet of building. Then we dug under what remained.
Here's the old building, right? We're digging a good 7 feet under it, so it's floating. Right, so you had to somehow tie that and extend all the way down to the new ground.
The site restrictions would force the development team to be creative.
We knew this was going to be something new, that it was going to be different. What we saw this was more of urban communal living, if you will, where you have shared terraces, you have shared walkways, and how you get into the units, the interaction of the upper and the lower levels, and just the light that goes into the space itself and what it does into the units and the incidental spaces.
The setbacks on each side of the building allowed the developers to create a floating walkway with entrances on one side of the building and private terraces on the other side. The building also has windows on all sides.
Every single room, except for closets, right, have windows.
The building would stand out, but it was important for it also to fit in with the surrounding neighborhood.
We have a 3-story building, plus the cellar. We kind of broke up the building into two components, if you will. You got the base and you got the top.
The curtain wall for the building is a key feature of the design. They had never worked with the material before, and installation issues delayed construction.
We couldn't build the bridge until we finished the siding. We couldn't finish the siding because of delays in material delivery because of the complexity of the skin. It delivered about 3 months late.
The groups who were clamoring to live here, when groups get organized to come into a shared housing concept, that time had passed.
Spun our wheels, going in all different directions with our marketing.
With events and mixers and making introductions, we were really doing a lot of matchmaking by actually starting the conversations, and in a lot of ways it might sound cheesy, but starting the friendships.
Oslo is a total of 9 3- and 4-bedroom units, where all bedrooms are the same size and include a private bath, in a modern, high-design building, a very different product than the older row houses that are typically shared by young people in the city.
Since it was delivered, about a little bit less than a year ago, we've maintained 100% occupancy. Not everyone decides that they want the boutique experience, but that's kind of part of what we're trying to curate as a company, is to create a product that is attractive to a certain subset of people. We're kind of building these models that are very unique. I mean, it's like, like when that person finds that carriage house apartment, and they just like, I'll never leave because it's so cool. I mean, that's the idea. Like if we can create products like that that are so unique that people don't want to give that up. They only give it up when they get married and move to Michigan. That's the kind of products we want to produce.
What the interesting thing is, from when we bought the project and started thinking through it to when we delivered it, the amazing thing, it's great when it works, is that the neighborhood came up to meet it, so that rather than being in an area that was, evolving, we ended up delivering, in 2014, early 2015, into one of the hottest submarkets, in the city right now.
I think the vitality and the health of the city is really dependent on bold and creative thinkers and designers. And what I've learned from this whole process is that if your investigation and if your process is thorough and sincere and dynamic, in terms of what we're doing, being bold and being creative is not a risk.
Every single building that we're building right now is built to the level of Oslo from an architectural perspective. So we're placing in the midst of these great neighborhoods of Washington modern residential buildings that I believe can be transformational to kind of the direction of development in Washington.